Okay, let's stop and review again the definition of radian measure, which is if you have a central angle theta subtended by an arc of length s and a circle of radius r, then the radian measure of theta is the length of the arc divided by the radius. Also, let's stop and make sure that we pay attention in our homework when we need to stop and watch it, which those examples have great videos as well. Okay, so if you've watched the previous problem on WebAssign, the one I'm about to demonstrate for you is pretty similar. It says the figure shows a circular sector with radius r and central angle t. So here's your central angle. So this is a circular sector, meaning it has a vertex and then radius r. And t is already in radians. It says the total perimeter of the sector is 10, and you want to express the area A of the sector as a function of t. Now this goes all the way back to chapter 2 of our text, where we spent time setting up functions of a single variable. So I would like for you to remember that the first thing is, if we're going to express the area, let's just describe the area with the formula that is natural to the problem, and that's the area of a circular sector, which is 1/2 the square of the radius times the angle in radians, and we were already told t is in radians. Okay, so right now area depends upon both r and t, and you want it to depend only upon t. So this means that we need to find a way to replace r in terms of t, which in my earlier lessons and we discussed this before, that we would need to reread the question and look for something that is not area to relate r and t to usually a numerical factor, but it doesn't have to be. But in this case, you are given that the perimeter, including the arc length, is 10. So you know that 2 lengths r plus 1 length s equals the perimeter 10. Okay, and you also know that t is in radians, so t must be the length s divided by the length r. Now let's see if we can put these together somehow to get area in terms of only t. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that I've got one equation with r and s and one equation with all three, s and r and t. So the one that we don't want at all involved is s. So let's take t equals s over r and write that as s equals rt, and go back here and get a new statement that says 2r plus r times t must be 10. Okay, now we have a statement relating only r and t. So what we would like to do is to solve for the guy we wish to replace in the area formula, and we wish to replace r because we want only t in the answer. So we'll solve for r. So 2r plus rt is 10. Algebraically, we can factor out r. Divide by 2 plus t to solve for r. Now r is in terms of t, and your step 4 is to go back now to your area formula and replace r in the formula in terms of t. And you're not required to simplify.